All right, what's going on, Canes fans? How we doing tonight? Happy Wednesday once again. Happy doubleheader Canes content day. We Wednesday is one of my favorite days because, of course, you got me, and right after on the Canes Insight channel, you got Brad and Chris. I believe they're gonna have a couple of potential Miami recruits on their show tonight, so stay tuned for that. That'll be at 9 Eastern. But for the next hour and a half, you got me. Yapping away about Canes football, but I will have some guests that I think you guys will like. And we got some stuff to talk about tonight. We got a certain barbecue, a certain cookout that happened yesterday. Actually, I believe it's happening yesterday and today, because today I believe they were having 2023 recruits on campus, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, lots to talk about. Phil Kane, what's going on? Judge Uno first. Max, what's good, man? What's going on? Yeah, man, lot of stuff to talk about. You know, it's been it hasn't been the same really this year because of COVID, because the recruiting dead period. Not as much to talk about in these last few months. I mean, there's been like transfer portal stuff and stuff like that, but recruiting hasn't been, cranking like it usually has. But now with the dead period over as of yesterday, what's up, Bertie? Over the next few weeks, we're going to have some stuff happening. So let's talk about that. What's up, Nathan? Chugmo Beer. As always, man, thank you for the support. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so they had the cookout yesterday. A lot of blue chip recruits on campus. You had, for starters, Shamar Stewart, Wesley Basaint. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's the number one linebacker, one of the top linebackers in the country. I should be pronouncing it right. Wesley Basaint, Kamari Rogers, Alton Tarver, Julian Armella, a ton of guys. You name it, they were there. A lot of guys in our backyard, a lot of blue chip guys that we could land. Hey, what's going on, K-Brew? Let's see. Biggest takeaway was how much Shamar loved it. Yeah, man. So let's talk about that. Let's dive in. So, as I said, a lot of big name recruits were on campus the last couple of days. And we'll start with the biggest one, since you guys brought it up, Shamar Stewart, who's by many accounts the number one recruit in the entire country. He's a defensive end, just an absolute monster of a human being. And again, in our backyard, actually looking him up right now as far as like height and weight goes, because I know he's huge. That would be a massive get if we're able to land him. Obviously, the favorite to land him is an SEC school like a Bama or somebody like that. But Shamar Stewart left feeling really good about Miami. He left the cookout feeling really good about us. We definitely improved our position with Shamar Stewart, the number one recruit in the country. So that would be a massive get for this coaching staff. 6'5", 260, massive dude. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Hey, John, love your show. Yeah, so Shamar really loved being down here. He loved the experience. And as I actually heard this yesterday listening to Brad on Mark Rogers' show, is I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that this does not count as their official visit. So they can come to this cookout, but still take an official visit later in the year, which I believe Shamar Stewart is scheduled to do. So that's great. That's huge. Reading body language, Marvin Jones Jr. has no interest in Miami. Yeah, man, I didn't hear much about him, but I heard a lot about other guys. The cookout is unofficial. Yeah. Awesome. Shamar came back today. He's still there. Yeah. Listen, I think we really improved our position with him. I think we probably right now, the way it stands, we have a better shot at him than we do at Marvin Jones Jr. But there's definitely plenty to go around when it comes to defensive end, especially in the state of Florida. You got Kenyatta Jackson, who, if I'm not mistaken, was here for the cookout. You got Dante Anderson, who's very interested in Miami. You got let's see who else. There was another guy on my mind. Oh, Nigel Lee Kelly, who I think, from what I'm hearing, Nigel Lee Kelly, and also at the cornerback position, Kamari Rogers, Wesley Basaint, I think with those guys, which are all huge recruits for us to land, if we can land these guys, that's an automatic top 10 class, in my opinion, just landing those 3 or 4 guys. And I think we improved our position and we're in good standing with all those guys I just mentioned. So I think all would agree this Cookout was a pretty big success. And again, we may land a couple of commits out of it. I don't know, but really this was just like a first impression kind of thing, first meeting out of the gate, because we haven't been able to meet with recruits for the last 15 months because of the dead period, because of COVID. And obviously guys aren't going to commit if they can't. Well, they will. Some will. Quan Lee committed. Ja'Cory Brown committed, but most won't until they're actually able to physically come and see the campus, which I get. They were holding off and waiting until that. Bernie, to be able to have a solid first contact with Shamar and other recruits is a big plus for us. Now we won't get everybody. We won't get everybody, but we'll absolutely leave a lasting impression. 100%. 100%. I agree. I believe Rogers is official is the 14th or something. I think it's either the 14th or the 11th, something like that. But yeah, he is visiting this month, if I'm not mistaken. But I heard a lot about him. Kamari Rogers really enjoyed his stay in Miami. He came down with his dad, who also really likes Miami. And we've been one of the top 2 or 3 favorites for him since he decommitted from LSU. So I love where we stand with him. If we can get him and Jacoby Spells, maybe Jordan Allen, those 3 right there, I'd be very happy with that. I don't know about you guys, but with that corner, we're probably going to get 4 corners, maybe 3 corners, and a striker kind of player who could play both. I'm not sure, but I think with those, we're more than solid. And it would be a huge boost to the talent in that room. Max with the facts, as always. Kamari is 18th to the 20th. Yeah, because the 14th I don't think is a weekend. I think it's during the week. 18th to the 20th is during the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see that. Yep, Friday through Sunday. John, just give me 5 minute notice and I'll go to my recording PC. Absolutely, bro. Let's see, where was I? Oh, Kamari hanging out with Jake the whole time, apparently. Yeah, I heard Kamari was hanging out with Jake. I heard Julian Armello was hanging out with Jake at one point, which is great because I hadn't heard a ton about Julian in recent weeks, but I heard Coach Justice was giving out a lot of offers to a lot of other guys. Like, I believe he gave an offer to Richardson, and I know he's interested in Cam Williams and Jacob Hood and all these guys. However, Julian Armello is still very much on their radar. It seems like he had a great visit, not official, but visit coming to the Cookout, and he spent a lot of time with Manny Diaz, from what I hear, and with Jake Garcia. So that's a great sign. If we get 4 really good corners, that would be amazing. Yeah, I can't remember us having the last time we had a great haul of corners, like in one recruiting class. I remember the year that we got Jamal Carter and Artie Burns. That was just 1 corner and 1 safety. And I remember we were really happy with that. Tracy Howard the year before. Actually, no, I think Tracy the same year? No, Tracy was 2011, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, around that time, that was probably the best haul of DBs that we got in one class that I can remember. I can't remember much other than that, like 3, 4, 5 guys in the secondary that we were super excited about in one class. We need it. We need that. We obviously need to develop guys, but we need that injection of talent as well. This is the first school that guys have seen many big schools to go. Absolutely. And that could be looked at one of 2 ways. The last school they go to might leave the most lasting impression, or the first school they go to, it being the first thing they see out of quarantine, might leave the biggest lasting impression, because they're going to be comparing every school to what they experienced in Miami. Now, obviously, we're not gonna compete as far as, putting on the biggest show for recruits, as far as, we don't have the budget that some schools have. And I think Miami understands that. Their lane is catering to that, family atmosphere, which I think Wesley the Saint and a couple other guys mentioned that when you come visit University of Miami, it's very, Wesley said it was a very laid back family-oriented thing, is from what I read. Very, very family-friendly, which, that's huge. And I think that's the guys that do come here. That's what gets them to come, those relationships that they build. And that's how Manny's been able to land a lot of these big recruits the last couple of years. Javier, I saw that. I'm wondering where the June commits are coming from. I'm thinking by the end of June, like going into the first week of July, we'll have 5, 6 kids. We'll have 6. I'm going to stick to my prediction. We'll have 6 commitments by the end of this month, I think. That's my prediction. What do you guys think? Who do you think it's going to be? Let's see. What's Max saying? A lot of kids don't want to give a date because they don't want it to be a surprise, so they just say something late. Yeah, true. Good point. What linebackers are we going to get? Honestly, Wesley Basaint, I've said it many times. He's my favorite linebacker available. I want him on this team. If not him, Devin Jackson. Love his athleticism, love his speed. Sideline to sideline, I think we need a playmaker like that. Let's see who else. Devin Jackson. Demario Tolan. Demario, is that his first name? He is, I think, a very solid middle linebacker prospect, and I would love to have him on this team. Also, Omar Graham Jr. is another guy. So any combination of 2 or 3 of those guys would be great. I hear a lot of kids waiting until December. Yeah, some are going to wait till December. Some are going to commit now because they want to grab their spot. I think it's going to be a mix of the two. You're definitely going to have some guys enjoying the process, which I don't blame them at all. Please take all the time you need to make your decision, but enjoy the process. But in the meantime, there's going to be some guys that are like, well, if I don't make my decision now, they might move on and offer somebody else. So there's going to be some of those too. So I think there's going to be a little rush of commitments over the next month and a half. Then maybe a lull, and then it's going to pick back up again once the season starts as we get closer to December. John, the 5 you mentioned are players that bleed orange and green. I hope so, man. The guys I mentioned, I'll mention them again. Shamar Stewart, Wesley Basaint, Kamari Rogers, Alton Tarver, Julian Armella. I mean, we land those. If we land 3 of those guys, I'm pretty happy. But all 5, man, that would be insane. Who are they looking at O-line? King David, they're looking at a lot of guys at O-line. They are looking at, well, I just mentioned Julian Armella, who's probably the number 1 tackle prospect on our board. Number 1 tackle prospect in the country right now is Zach Rice. But just behind him is Julian Armella. 4-star, borderline 5-star tackle. He was at Christopher Columbus High School, my alma mater, but transferred back to his original high school, St. Thomas Aquinas, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, dude's an animal. You got him. You got Daughtry Richardson from Central. You got Cam Williams. You got Jacob Hood. You got a bunch of other guys that I can't name right now. But there's like 6 or 7 linemen out there that we're very much in the running for all of them. So we are about to improve tremendously at that position and at corner, like for sure, 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. Let's see what else we got. Another question from King David. Do you think you have a chance at Earl Little? Not as great as we do for like a Spells or a Kamari Rogers. I think we're in a much better position for them. But, recruiting is a fluid thing. It's always changing. So you never know. Nothing shocks me in recruiting anymore. So if Earl Little all of a sudden, if we're in his top 3, wouldn't shock me one bit. 2. There were 16 at the Cookout. I thought there were to be 26. I thought there was like 29 at the Cookout. Either 25 or 29, something like that. Max, let me know, man. So there was, there he is. Look how quick he is. Max is the man. There was over 30. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, there was a ton of guys. It was way over 16 for sure. Ton of guys. Greg Bush, what's going on? What's up, Canes fam? Happy Hump Day. Yeah, man. Hump Day is the best, in my opinion. I mean, every day is a good day for Canes content. You got Max and Steve-O do their show. They did it last night where they break down a lot of film and they have guests on. They had David Franklin on last night, and it was a really good show. When you have time, if you haven't, rewatch Squad and go back and listen to it. I believe you read, there you go. 16, 4, and 5 stars. So 16 blue chip guys. Blue chip. That's what, 4-star and above is basically a blue chip. 2022. So, yeah, that's probably what it was. So 16 of the 30 that came were blue chip guys. That is awesome. What's your take on David Franklin's tweet? Thought it was Morse code for Stewart. I actually didn't see it, Javier. I'll have to go back and look. maybe David's looking. He'll let you know. No, I didn't catch that. Actually, I'll have to go back. Great show. I watched it. Yeah. So last night, Steve-O and Max had David Franklin on. Awesome. And great show. And Mondays is Wholesome One. Wednesdays is me and Canes Insight. Sunday, you got a doubleheader as well, me and Flo, and then you got Canes Legacy. Almost any night is a great night for Canes content, but Wednesday is one of my favorite ones. Thanks, Red. Max, great show last night. Hey, John, Jay Toyle. I don't want to butcher that name. Jay, that linebacker, the D lineman from USC, right? Interested in the U. What do you think? If he really is interested in the U, I think we absolutely take him. I mean, D tackle is a pretty strong position, thankfully, right now for the Canes. I'm not complaining at all there. I would think DN needs a little more help than D tackle. I think we're pretty solid with Nesta, Harrison Hunt, Leonard Taylor, Elijah Roberts, but then he might move to DN because he's leaning out. We don't know. But we're pretty strong at defensive tackle, but I think I'm of the opinion you cannot have too many guys in the trenches. If you're 3 deep at each position, great. If you're 4 deep, even better. I mean, the best teams are that deep in the trenches because those guys get nicked up a lot. They get hurt. You need to be rotating a lot of guys. So to answer your question, yes, he's a take. I think of the little bit that I've seen from him on film, I didn't have a chance to really dive deep in it. Looks solid. He is. Yes, he is a freshman. I believe he was part of the 2021 class. So he didn't spend too much time at Bama, but he talented dude. I think like a 4 or 5 star caliber guy. So no, did I say Bama? USC, sorry. Yeah, man. You need guys like that in the trenches to build up that depth. 100%. You take a guy like that. Why not? At least throw him in there to compete. And if he does anything else, he lights a fire under Leonard Taylor, Nesta to just hold on to that spot because they know there's somebody behind them. Give me 1 second here, folks. Just sending out a link. And let's see what else we got. Thanks, bro. You're in demand, Max. Yep. Yes, you are. Yes, take him. 100%. I agree. Depth in the trenches is essential. Absolutely, man. That's O-line and D-line. I mean, those guys probably have to play hurt more than anyone, honestly. I mean, a lot is demanded out of those guys. And so you need to be deep there. Hang on 1 second, guys. Hey, Max, if you're listening, check your DMs, check your Twitter. So let's see, Bergie, how many total D tackles do you think we'll take? I think if you include portal, now that now that this guy's on our radar, we may take a portal D tackle. You never know. If recruits plus portal, I'm thinking like 3, honestly, because right now you got Nesta, you got Harrison Hunt. You got, in fact, let's look up the roster right now. Any Hurricanes roster? All right. Yeah, you got some quality depth there, I think, but I think we take three. Alton Tarver would be one for sure. I know that's David Franklin's guy. He's at Deerfield Beach right now, if I'm not mistaken. So, a little on the shorter side, 6'1", 6'1.5", but like 305 pounds of he's just a pure tank. Like, I just looked at a picture of this dude and I'm like, that is a dude that is going to move some people around. Like, immediately, that's the impression I got. So, yo, what up, Canes? What's up, man? How's it going? Bergie, hey, Greg, I'm good. Bergie was good. Canes fan, what's good? What's going on, man? Yeah, so now that there's more people in the chat, how are you guys feeling after what we're hearing from the Cookout? We're in a lot, I think, even better position now for certain guys than we were before. Again, the Kamari Rogers and the Wesley Saints, I think it just confirmed that we're in a solid standing with all those guys. And Shamar Stewart's probably the biggest takeaway. What is your opinion on Tolbert Baines kid? When Max comes on, maybe he can answer that question. I'm not too familiar with him. Obviously, Tolbert Bain, Hurricane legend, but his son, not too familiar with him. So once we get my first guest on, maybe we'll find out. But yeah, man, keep it coming. Let's keep blowing up this chat. Fire your questions away. You see my question about the QBs? I did not, King David. Let me scroll back to that. Here it is. Who do you think will be the starter at QB if King is not ready to play for Bama or not three jobs or not three after Bama? If it's not King, I'll be honest. I mean, I'm very much a Jake Garcia guy. I'm a huge fan of his. However, I'm going to have to agree with my Sunday co-host Flo. I think TVD is a little bit ahead of him as far as development, and he's got a little bit more experience. He does have the extra year in the program. So if for whatever reason King is not ready, I think where it stands right now, it's going to be Tyler Van Dyke to take the reins, with Jake Garcia not far behind. You may see both of them getting playing time in those first couple games if King is not ready. But as of right now, it looks like King's going to be ready. At least it looks like he's on track. From what I'm reading, what I'm seeing online, he's out there throwing the football around already. He's already working out with the team, doing what he can, obviously. But I think it'll be TBD, honestly. Like I said before, it's good. We got in fast and early and showed the recruits a really good time. First impressions matter due to most visits being compared to them. We're in a good spot. Agreed. Yeah, man, like I said, this is kind of a special scenario because these guys have not been able to visit a school in how long? They haven't been able to visit a school in 15 months. So this is the first one they visited for a lot of them. And that's what they're gonna compare everything after that to the first one. So, I think it was very smart on Coach Manny Diaz to do it, to really blow it, to do something really big coming out of quarantine, because that's gonna leave a lasting impression. TVD ain't played a down, neither has Jake. Whoever looks the best in the fall, 2 points. No, 100%. Whoever looks best in summer and fall practice will win. I'm just saying right now, TVD is a little bit ahead. That's all I'm saying. The extra year with the program and the weight room and all that stuff, that helps. And also, I just think he looked very solid. TVD, they both look good in the spring game. TVD looked good. It was more vanilla play calling. They kind of shut him down after, a couple quarters. After a while, they're like, okay, you're done for the day. Take a seat. That's for a reason. That's because they don't want him to get hurt. Whereas Jake, who also played very well, he was impressive. It was more of a, okay, we need to see, you're new. We need to see a little more from you. Let's have you out there, for a little bit more of that spring game. Let's see. The word is Stewart is back at the U tonight. Okay, who said? Yeah, I was hearing the same thing. So I can't confirm that, but he may be back at the U tonight. What recruit do you think Manny wants most? Oof. I can tell you the top 2 or 3 I want. It's Wesley, it's Armella, and man, those are like my top 2 favorite. The ones that Manny wants the most, man, that's a tough one. That is a good question. That's a good question. I think Manny, being a linebacker guy, does want to land a couple of studs at that position, and I think he's got something to prove. It seems like he's really waiting on like a good portal linebacker that's like the perfect fit, but I also think he's got something to prove with the current guys and also landing one out of high school. So I think Wesley, he really, really wants. I think that might be his favorite guy. Just, Manny being a defensive guy and a linebacker guy. Yep, it better be Wesley. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hang on, let me check these DMs. Sorry, I got guests coming on at different times, rearranging some stuff. All right, sorry about that, folks. Yeah, better be Wesley. Most want Wesley. Yeah, that's a common one. He might have been the better linebacker between him and Terrence Lewis, which is crazy. That is crazy. Because Terrence Lewis was a stud. How many wide receivers are you looking to get in this class? Wide receivers, I'm thinking we take 3 total. I don't think we take more than that just because we're already deep as far as numbers. I think we already got Quan Lee. I think, he's locked into this class. He's coming for sure, in my opinion. Let me correct that. Nothing's for sure in recruiting until they sign the dotted line. But I think his commitment is very, very solid to Miami. So that's Quan Lee. He's a quick guy, explosive, 6 foot, not small, but not too big either. He's a very balanced receiver. I think we're going to take a smaller, speedier guy, maybe like a Mike Jackson, maybe, not Isaiah Bond because he's already committed, but like that kind of receiver, maybe a Horton. And I think the other guy would be a possession receiver, like a big 6'4", 6'5" guy, ideally. Jaden Gibson, for example, which that's a key recruiting battle in this state because it's between us and Florida. Jaden Gibson and also Marcus Peterson, I believe is his name. Not Marcus Peters. That's the corner from the Chiefs. Marcus Peterson he's a 6'4", 200-something pound wide receiver that grades out as a tight end. So he might play tight end, he might play receiver, but it's going to be like that. A big guy, a little speedy guy, and then Quan Lee. So I think we take 3. Thanks, John. No problem, man. First guest has arrived. Well, not my first guest. I had to move stuff around. This is really like my 3rd guest coming first. What's going on, man?
Technical difficulties, man. I pride myself as being a technical guy, and I'm having some technical difficulties, so I'm not at my normal setup. But we're here.
No worries. I love the lighting from outside. I forget you're in the West Coast, so it's what, like 4 in the afternoon over there?
Yeah, it's 4:30 right now.
Oh yeah, it's 7:30.
My college is like right over there. Well, the college I went to.
Oh, nice. So yeah, man. So how you feeling coming out of this cookout? Where are we? How do you feel where we're at with some of these blue chip guys? Because I loved what I was reading. I don't know about you.
Yeah, so yesterday was a crazy day full of emotions. Me being so hyped about the barbecue led to me going to the gym for the first time in like months. It's finally open again because of COVID, and so I went yesterday. I was so hyped about the barbecue. Almost didn't want to do a show because I just wanted to continue to consume all the news from the barbecue. Mm-hmm. But it ended up being a blast as always, so I'm happy I did it. I feel like we're in a really good spot. Like I mentioned in the chat a little bit earlier, a lot of these guys are strategic with what they say. Oh yeah, I'm going to commit in December. I don't think it's going to end up going like that. I think a lot of these guys are going to feel the pressure to commit once they see, 1 or 2 of the other schools that they're going to visit. And I think they'll pop a lot earlier than people think. So awesome. I feel great about where we're at with a lot of these guys.
No, absolutely, man. Especially Shamar Stewart. I mean, I figured he was going to have a good time at the cookout, but the stuff I was reading, like, I was very encouraged. I was like, oh wow, we really are on this dude's radar.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is like, I don't know. So a little bit of just about my background. Like I studied communication and nonverbal communication and all these different types of things. So like the whole interviewing thing, like what Javier just brought up, a lot of it's on purpose. Again, they don't want to tip their hand. So if Wesley's like over the moon about Miami and he's thinking about it from a schematic standpoint, he might not be trying to make it seem like he's absolutely floored with Miami. He's going to commit to Miami if that's his mindset. Again, I don't know where he is, but just looking at it from a perspective that I've kind of learned, I kind of see it as that way. Then you guys have guys like Daughtry Richardson, who is just super upbeat, super happy. That's his personality. He's just like that, Brad and Chris had him on the Canes Insight show like 2-3 weeks ago, and that's just the type of person he is. Wesley's more of a reserved guy, so I don't know if I would read too much into the body language thing. I do agree with the Marvin Jones Jr. comment a little bit earlier. It didn't seem like he was interested at all, and he was just kind of there to say what's up and be there and see some of his friends and show up with Earl. But again, I'm not reading too much into it. It's just there's so many things that even the most professional of professional people can't think about. You never know what's going on in these kids' minds. So it's hard to say. I don't read too much. Just like I didn't read too much into the spring game. I'm not going to read too much into these interviews.
Yeah, I agree. You can go down a rabbit hole reading body language and stuff, and there's still there's still 6 months between now and early signing day. So
yeah,
I think it's too much to read into. I was talking earlier about, I was mentioning Basaint might have been the better of the linebacker duo between him and Terrence Lewis. And I guess Bergie mentioned this. I still might end up with Lewis and Basaint if Lewis hits the portal. Stranger things have happened. That would be insane, but I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so I've been seeing this on Twitter. I've been seeing it in some of the chats. I think Michael just posted that there was a rumor that he was going to leave Maryland. I think it's more so assumptions. That assumptions from Miami fans, obviously hoping that it does happen, but also the fact of the matter is he went to school with 2 parts of his body needing surgery, and basically none of the schools recruiting him knew about it. He played all senior year with a torn ACL and needed surgery on his shoulder, and so he's not going to be playing this year at Maryland. So I think a lot of the fan base is assuming he's going to get homesick because now he's not focusing on football. He's just there. He's sitting in his dorm room by himself all day. So I think it's a lot of assumptions and people hoping that it happens, more so than any validity to it. Not that it couldn't be true, because like Bergie said, crazier things have happened or stranger things have happened. It's always a possibility, but I don't think there's any validity to some of those statements that I've seen.
Gotcha. Another thing I was reading a lot about was certain guys like Julian Armello was spending a lot of time with Jake Garcia. I guess I hadn't heard a ton about Armello the last couple of months. I've been hearing more about Coach Justice offering a lot of these other linemen, but it seems like Armello very much back in the fold. Are you hearing anything different from what I heard? Because I would, obviously that's a dude I would love to land. I think he's on top of Miami's board right now as like one of the top 2 or 3 players overall.
Yeah, so I was on Wholesome's show on Monday. He asked me if you had to put like a percentage on Armello being a Cane, what would it be? And this was, of course, pre-barbecue. I would say my number is roughly around the same post-barbecue. I know he had a great time. I also know that Coach Justice brought him and his family away from the entire barbecue into his office and had a lengthy conversation with all of them. But I would still put my guess at about a 20 to 25% chance right now. Which I think isn't a bad place to be with so much time, because that's a guy that I truly believe is going to wait until early signing period, if not National Signing Day, because he's at St. Thomas Aquinas, so he can enroll early. So he's in no rush to make a decision whatsoever. So that's a guy, I would say about 20-25%. But I think we're in a decent spot. I don't think there's one school that's just at the top. I think most schools are at around a 20% chance to get him. I believe Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson are kind of towards the top of his list. I think maybe LSU's on there as well. But I think we have a solid shot. Nothing too crazy though.
Okay. Yeah. So I was gonna say it's not us 25 and like another school 75. It's like
correct.
We're in the running just as much as any other school.
Right. Oh, and I obviously forgot to mention Florida State as well. His father's alma mater, but I just kind of blocked them out of my vocabulary. But
Yeah, because his dad Enzo Armella played in the early '90s.
I think he played D tackle. I believe
so. Yeah, I believe it was D tackle. Some recruits were hanging with James Williams. I did hear that. A lot of guys were hanging out with him. JMR1. Did Lewis ever take an official in Miami?
Did he? Off the top of find that out in a second. I do not believe he did, though.
Let me bring in our next guest while you do that.
What's up?
What's going on, brother?
Oh, he got the coach's visor on too, man.
Yeah, man.
Are you at the bar? Are you at the second barbecue right now?
I just entered the IPF, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a lit day. It's been crazy. No, I'm kidding. I'm just here chilling. Just got off of work, long day. Finally got the green screen. Everybody's been like, "Hey, man, tired of looking at your TV and your family pictures. You got to step it up." So I'm like, "All right, man.
You have a nice living room though. Like it's
and we're tired of seeing your girl back there too, Brad.
Yeah.
Here. Like, I think he's just covering her.
Exactly. Yeah. You might still hear kids in the background. That's 2020, 8 recruits, not 2023, 2024 recruits.
Gotcha. Hey guys.
Brad might know the answer to this question. Terrence Lewis never took an official, right? He took multiple unofficials.
Unofficials.
Yeah, because we were getting a bunch of questions about the whole is he going to transfer? Might he come to Miami?
Yeah, I wouldn't be sure yet. It depends on how the season goes, how Maryland does, in my opinion. But it's a possibility. I've always told people, even when he put on that Maryland hat, that don't rule out anything. And then of course, him getting injured, unfortunately, that was very bad news. I wish him nothing but the best, because he's got the talent to do just about anything. But it's gonna be interesting what happens, because Miami, like I just said, Miami's never been an official visit for Terrence Lewis.
Yeah. All right. So Les says, "Hey guys, did anybody show up at the Canes barbecue that we didn't expect? When can we expect some commits?" Nobody showed up. Nobody was really a surprise as far as people that showed up, at least in my opinion. What do you guys think?
You want to go first, Max, or you want me to go?
I'll go. I'll go first. Malik Spencer. I'm just gonna say one name so I don't steal all Brad's answers. But Malik Spencer is a guy that was a huge surprise. I don't even think half the staff knew he was going to show up. He's a guy that's currently committed to Michigan State. He attends Buford, which is where Jess Simpson went, or coached at, and obviously, Isaiah Bond goes there. Jake Pope, another safety that we were recruiting, goes there. So I think that was a big surprise for me.
Yeah, there was a couple, like Max mentioned, Malik Spencer out of Buford, Georgia. Coach Ish was one of those guys that was very on top of Spencer from everything I heard at the cookout, and also today. There's a couple guys, but right off the top, you got to go with Sherrod Covel. That's a name that's been buzzing around. Someone that's very hot on the radar right now. From everything I've heard, he has had multiple coaches not only talk to him at the cookout, but kind of look over his shoulder. throughout the day. He's more of a striker, in my opinion, from everything I've heard as far as him working out from people that were within watching him. He's got that striker mold, someone that could possibly replace a Jordan Allen if for somehow, some way we don't land someone like him. I think Sherrod Covel is definitely someone in that range. He had Coach T-Rob, even Manny watching him as well today from what I've heard. And also DJ Ivy and Corey Couch were even giving him some tips as well.
Awesome. That's good to hear, man. Brad, let's hear the rumors, bro.
Brad's got a show in an hour. He's got to save him for his show, man.
Yeah, he's got to save the content for his show.
I will say though, Avion, another guy, just to say, I don't really care. Avion Rice, linebacker as well. That was another interesting name that popped up that I think a lot of people weren't aware of. When you look at this linebacker position, I think Demario Tolan was a name. When you talk about guys who we were surprised that did come, a name that was a little surprise to me that didn't come was Demario Tolan. Obviously, we got the news a few days ago, but it was just a little surprise to me, from the jump when we got that news originally, because that's someone that Miami was very high on. Someone like Travius Lathan, he was at the barbecue. You had Omar Green as well, along with Wesley Basante. But it sounds like Wesley was like the number one guy at the cookout. They had everyone. Manny Diaz was eating lobster with him and his family at the main table. I don't got pictures, but I got a couple conversations. No, I'm kidding. But no, it's going to be fun, man. I think a lot of us were, hoping that we would get a commit by now. We were just anxious, gates let open, everyone's going to free for all. But I think you're seeing a strategy with this Miami staff because you have a lot of veterans on the staff now that are put in positions where they don't feel uncomfortable like years past, where I think we were trying to, put a lot of pressure on these young kids, right out the gate, where it was kind of making them feel very uncomfortable and their families uncomfortable because they weren't building that bond and relationship. And now what you're seeing from everything I heard, the number one thing that all these recruits came about this cookout, and even today with the 2023 recruits, is the family bond that they have within the program. They didn't talk much football. It was mostly just, hey, how are you doing? How's the family? Hey, hi mom, hi dad, check out this campus. They were in love with the dorms. When's the last time that the facilities between the IPF and just the surroundings of the campus, right? And then the dorms of the freshmen. When's the last time those have been two selling points for our program? And it seems like those are two big key things along, like I just mentioned, the family atmosphere within the coaches and the program. Those are the big selling points that a lot of these recruits came out of this cookout. It had nothing really to do with football. You had a couple guys where they sat down and kind of talked strategy, but mostly everything was all family, man.
Nice, man. All right, question from Old Kane. Were you surprised Kenyatta Jackson didn't come?
I was surprised that he said he was going to show up like a day or two before the cookout, more than I was surprised that he didn't show up.
No, I think out of all the defensive ends, him and Marvin Jones were probably the ones that we weren't really, much of getting. When you look at the interview, I think Kane Sport, I think it was Gary or somebody did with Marvin Jones and Earl Little. When they pulled up to the cookout, they really didn't. They looked like they just pulled up for business. It was just, I'm in here, take a couple pictures, videos, walk out. Good. They knew what they were doing. But some of the other guys, they were invested into it. You talk about big names and defensive ends. I know Shamar Stewart is the hot name that people want to talk about, but dig deep into it. Nigel Kelly, who obviously we wanted to be the number one guy on our board, and it seems like it is so far. But obviously that Clemson offer and visit is going to be telling. But he comes back next Tuesday on a personal tour with Jess Simpson. That alone is already huge. The fact that he came here for the cookout and now he's like, hey, coach, I want to get a little bit more detail on how you run things. So now Coach Simpson is going to kind of bring him along next Tuesday. That would be great. And then also, one little nugget as well is that he was the last person to leave in the cookout. Out of all the recruits, lights off, parties over, families, walking to their cars, coaches are, slowly, making their last conversations. Nigel Kelly, who was decked out in orange and green from head to toe, was the last recruit to leave that visit.
Awesome, man. And on that note, let me bring in another guest who just popped in.
Hey, Zach.
Who's this guy?
going on,
Who's
y'all?
this guy? This guy's busy all the time.
Yeah, bro.
What's
I'm
going
good
on,
now,
man?
bro. How you
Yeah,
guys doing?
Good, man.
Chilling.
We're just
Yeah,
here
thank
talking.
you for having me on.
Nah, appreciate it. Thanks for stopping through.
Yeah, no problem.
My close Shamar. Yep. Hey, and we're talking, we're just talking some Cookout. I asked everybody else when they came on, what are your feelings coming out of it? Obviously, it seems like it was a big success.
Mhm.
What surprised you? What did you, what one jumped out at you? Give us what you thought.
The dorms. I mean, I'm sure you guys covered football a lot, but those they want to live in the good, comfy places. It seems like a great atmosphere. What they built on campus. I think the players are into that, and just into the whole Cookout thing. It shows that the coaches are personable with the players, and we got a lot of guys like DVD, Cooney, T-Rob, all those guys, that can connect with those players, and I think a Cookout was the best way to do it.
Yeah, man. I was just going to mention, I remember what the dorms looked like because my sister went to UM. This is like 98, 99. Let's just say I don't want to talk about what they used to look like. I'll just put it that way.
Let's just say my dad was there in 78 to 82, so I'm sure they looked a lot worse back then.
Oh, they're probably the same. They probably didn't do anything until now.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, it's about time they do things to catch up to the other schools as far as making it look nice, because you can only win with crappy facilities for so long. You know what I mean?
100%.
But yeah, man. So, and I was I was gonna ask you guys. Oh, there was a part 2 to that question. If I can find it, here it is. So when can we expect some commits? So are you guys expecting us to land a couple names officially coming out of this Cookout like in the next week or two? Or do you think, like you said, Brad, it's strategic, certain guys are waiting, like when is the first domino going to fall, basically? Whoever wants to go first.
I can start on this one. I know for sure Wesley Besant mentioned in that post interview that he's going to hold off his commitment until December. I think a lot of those guys are going to do that just because visits are opening up. They want to see more places, but I think you may see some guys given that commit. I think this barbecue definitely did help though.
Yeah, again, I don't think I'm going back to certain guys on the staff to where they're in a spot where they feel very comfortable, where this is something that they're used to. And I think as far as a program, when you look at recruiting visits, especially when the gates first open, especially this long time period, you don't want to feel like very pushy, and you don't want to like oversell yourself or kind of just, be like out there, right? You want to be very personable, like Zach mentioned, and I mentioned earlier. These coaches, they're very relatable and they're very relationship building people, to where not only with the young men that they're recruiting, but also with the moms, the dads, the grandmas, the aunts, the uncles, whoever they are, the coaches, whoever is coming to these visits are seeing these things as well. And I mean, again, going back to the campus and to the dorms, those are things that we were lacking in years prior. That was just another knock on Miami, to now you're seeing that it's paying a benefit to be that additional add-on on top of how great these coaches are with the young men and the parents. And I think that is what's going to pay dividends. And I think what you're seeing now is they built a relationship over the phone through FaceTime, like what we're doing right now, right? Mm-hmm. They finally got the first date, right? On the first date, you're not gonna be like pushing, try to get it all right. You're gonna feel things out. You're gonna figure out what their favorite color is and things like that. All right. In about 2 weeks, right before some of these guys either take their official visit to Miami, or when they're at their official visit, or if they're taking it to another school in about 2 weeks and they've already taken their official visit, for instance, guys that are coming in on June 4th, if they don't get that commitment by then, I think at that point, that is when you start to, either get a little pushy towards them or pull the trigger at another guy in that same position to kind of show them, hey, like spots are getting taken. It's either you're coming on or you're not. Because someone like Jaden Gibson, for example, I know we're reading into a lot of this Miami talk, But University of Florida just had their own June 1st. And from everything I read and heard, Jaden Gibson is like head over heels with the University of Florida right now, to where if Florida gives him the green light, he's gone. And he's got another official visit on June 4th to them, and then obviously June 11th to Miami. From everything I heard, he's actually going to make another unofficial visit to Florida at the end of the year along with Florida State. So that's a little tough on us. So that's got to give us a little momentum going into, I would say, June 11th to June 18th range, to where we need to add another receiver.
Gotcha. I like what Greg said there. 4 horsemen of the cane apocalypse. I'm an expert, so that one spoke to me. Yeah, man. So, Max, anything to add to that, or?
Yeah, I think what Brad said is pretty accurate. We have some guys coming in for unofficial or official visits June 4th. I think, at those times is when you're going to start to see maybe some names pop. Most likely after they take some of their other visits. I know a lot of these guys are taking a majority of their visits in June. So I definitely can see some names popping, during the month of June, just because there's a lot of guys trying to figure out what they want to do. And like Brad mentioned, the spots aren't going to be theirs the whole time. There's exceptions. There's exceptions for guys that are high 5 stars, top recruits in the country. They can commit whenever they want, because you can't really push a guy like that to make an early decision. But with some of these other guys, Miami's going to do a job in making sure that there's somebody that's replaceable. And so if these guys aren't willing to make a commitment, until December, then Miami has to do their homework on other guys. And I think at the end of the day, that's going to push some of these guys to make earlier decisions. I don't think a lot of these guys are going to wait till December like they're saying they are. I just don't see it happening. Like the big guys will, but some of the other guys I don't think will.
Oh, yeah. I think they're going to trickle in as we go, because like you guys said, this coaching staff gets it. It's relationship building. It's, you don't try to sell it all on the first date, like you said, Brad. Those start trickling in. I think this month we'll probably have, I'm thinking, 5-6 commits going into July. Hopefully, we're at 2 right now, and I think they'll trickle in after that.
So let me ask you a question. I mean, I'll ask all y'all a question. So looking at the June 4th, now that we're talking like the next couple weeks, like is kind of important for us. Looking at June 4th at the list of guys, who do you think is the most likely to commit after that weekend? The list is Malik Agbo, Omar Graham Jr., Chris Graves, Anthony Jones, Jordan Allen, Quintel Jones, and Traquan Fegans.
For whatever reason, Chris Graves stands out to me. I don't know why. My gut is telling me him or Jordan Allen, one of those two, might commit first.
What about you, Zach?
Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. Him or Jordan Allen.
Yep. What you got, Max?
I want to be a little bit different, so I'm going to say a different name. I definitely agree with what you're saying. Graves for sure. I know his mom's kind of pushing him a little bit, and obviously his cousin's Malik Curtis, so he's in his ear as well. But I'm going to go with Anthony Jones. I think he's going to absolutely love his visit. He's a West Coast guy. I know he has a great relationship with the staff. So I could see someone like him committing after his visit.
That's that huge tight end, right? Anthony Jones?
Yeah. Yep. And we also got a official visit from Jaleel Skinner as well, June 25th, but he's been getting crystal balls to Florida State right now. But that's someone that's very close to Ja'Cory Brown. So, yeah, I mean, that June 4th, I think Anthony Jones is obviously a name to look out for, especially if someone like Skinner pops to Florida State and makes it official. Then that puts a little bit more pressure on someone like Anthony Jones, to where that's probably our tight end after that weekend. I think Chris Graves is probably the obvious one. Jordan Allen, I would probably agree with you guys, but I'm starting to get a little bit worried. He was supposed to be here on June 1st. Right now, he's at LSU wearing some LSU gear, rocking it on Instagram. So he will be in Miami, I believe, June 4th through June 6th. So it was supposed to be, a 5 to 6 day week for Jordan Allen in Miami, and now it's turning into a quick 2 to 3 day, and he's already put on a couple uniforms before us. So I don't know about him yet, but I will say, just a name to throw out differently, Traquan Figgins. Why not? I think between, the Miami atmosphere and, seeing his gear and the orange and green, getting a relationship with the coach and T-Rob and DVD. And I think the big factor is going to be some of the pitches that the recruit in the university is going to offer to someone like Traquan. I know the likeness bill that passed specifically for South Florida, as far as building your name around a city like that, is something that him and his family very, very like. And if you land someone like him, you possibly get his younger brother, who is just as good, if not better.
Sweet, man. Yeah, Traquan Figgins, if we can get a guy like that, because I already feel really good about Spells and Rogers, add that to those two guys, woo, that would be sick. Les wants to know, Max, what do you know about, I'm going to butcher the name, the USC D tackle? By the way, guys, if either of you, I know I told you guys like 15, 20 minutes. If you guys got to go at any point, please feel free. Up to you. But they want to know what is your opinion, Max, of the USC D tackle that just entered the portal?
The guy's a beast, man. I saw him live last year. He's a guy that's going to get double teamed every single play and still make a play and run stop. He was only at USC for four months. He had a 4.0 while he was there. Their starting defensive tackle ruptured his Achilles, I believe, and he was pegged to either be the starter or get a lot of snaps as a true freshman. So clearly he's a talented guy. USC and Miami are pretty comparable in terms of the product on the field right now. And so the fact that he had potential to start as a true freshman there means he probably has potential to get some snaps at Miami if he were to transfer here. But that, to back up a little bit on that, our defensive tackle room is stacked right now. So I wouldn't expect him to come here and play right away. I do know that he set up an official visit to go tour Michigan this weekend. So that would be a team to look out for as well.
Nice. We just had another. This is about to become a cluster bleep. What's going on?
Look who the cat dragged in.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
How we doing?
My original plan was to have like a revolving door of guests, like one after the other, but the first one didn't show. Max came early, and I was just like, "Screw it, everyone, come on."
And Max just refused to leave. What happened?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm out of here whenever you want me out of here, man.
Hey, up to you. If you guys are busy, please feel free. If you want to stay, up to you, bro. We're all family here, so please. So yeah, obviously we're talking about the barbecue and all that. Anything, Chris? I'm sure you've been following it just like all of us. What were your impressions? Anything that stuck out to you in particular?
I was just excited about like the start of it and how much excitement there was about the program, and like you could tell right away that there was a lot of really positive energy. I know a lot of people, and I was guilty of myself, kind of immaturely thinking, "Hey, that on that day we're gonna get like 9 commits. We're gonna be loaded. We're gonna be number 1 in the country. We're gonna lock it all down." But just as the day rolled on, you kind of saw how it was going, where it was going to be more just again building relationships, making sure all the kids knew that they were priorities for the class, that knowing where their roles were, and then seeing the guys build relationships with existing players on the team that for the last 14 months, 15 months, they really weren't able to do. And seeing some of those guys that are like, the 21s who are out of state, that came in early, getting to meet some of those younger guys in from in-state, like the Jake Garcia stuff, like that was all really cool to see, especially if it's a way of building up those bonds that could help drive this next class.
Gotcha. So the comment below, I take this as a personal challenge because he says, "Stop talking about Bama. We're not winning that." See, now I want to talk Bama. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I haven't. If you want to switch gears, I haven't talked about the upcoming Bama game in a while. We're how many months away now? We're like less than 100 days. I think we're 94 days or something away from kickoff.
94, yep.
Well, Chris is actually counting it every day,
yeah.
So he knows the exact number. So 94 days. So that's right around the corner, man. That's 3 months away. Do you guys feel as we get closer, because if you're like me, as we get closer, I start to believe more and more that we could possibly win that game. The day of, I'm going to be insufferable. I'm going to say that we're going to win the game. But 90 days out, we're 3 months away. How are you guys feeling about the game right now? Chris, you just hopped on. We'll start with you.
I feel as good as you can at this point in time. Everything comes back to De'Ara King, and if De'Ara King is, and everyone says he's going to be healthy and ready to roll. If he's 100%, our chance of winning go from like 2% up to 35% or so, 40% maybe if you're having a really, really good day. Without him, we're dead in the water. We have no chance. We might as well just like make a JV team from guys on campus playing flag football and send them over. But if we have De'Ara King, then we have a fighter's chance. I saw someone put up some stats on Twitter that was like, what if he goes for like 415, 3 passing touchdowns, runs for 45 yards, doesn't throw a pick? Yeah, if he plays an absolute perfect game, we have a shot. We've seen teams play Bama and their quarterback plays out of their mind over their head, and they beat them. We've seen it like teams like Mississippi State have beaten them in the past with a quarterback playing out of his mind. So it's doable. I wouldn't put any money on it personally. I don't know if other guys out there may be a little bit different, but we need him to be healthy. We need him to be ready to go. Otherwise, it's not even worth talking about.
Nice. Another guy just hopped off. What's going on, brother?
How you guys doing, yo? How y'all doing? Thank y'all for having me. Congrats, man. You got to get that 1K for you, brother. It's lit. I noticed Brad's at the IPF. I wasn't able to make it. I wasn't able to make it today.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
And he's got the coach's hat on.
Oh yeah. What's up, Zach? How you guys doing?
What's going on?
We talking Bama? Oh man. Oof.
Yeah.
Bama.
I seen that. That was Vaughn. That was Vaughn who posted that stats.
Levant, that it kind of got some conversation going. If De'Ara King has a perfect game, do we have it? I think we have a shot. I don't know. I mean, Steve, you just hopped on to catch you up. What do you think? We're 3 months out from the game. It's right around the corner. Are you feeling worse about the game now that we're close? Better about the game? How are you feeling right now?
I feel good about the game because when you talk to some of the players, they think this is a great opportunity for them. So that they're inspired. So I think we'll play inspired football. Alabama doesn't really see a lot of spreads in the SEC. Every time they do play one, they do give up some points. Not saying they lose, but points are scored. So I feel like Lashley can have a score, and I think De'Ara King walk around with no knee brace. You have to feel good as a Canes fan that he's out there throwing the ball with no brace, looking like he was never left. So definitely that's a positive. But just, I don't know, man. You think the momentum is just swinging our way. Obviously, none of that stuff matters when you pull up to Atlanta. But, I'm feeling good right now. I think if De'Ara King has a perfect game, we for sure have a chance. Have to have some turnovers too, but we have a chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about the rest of you guys? Whoever wants to chime in?
Man, Steve-O knows how I feel. We've talked about it so much on our show and just on a daily basis. I think he's right in the fact that we need to play a near perfect game, if not a perfect game, and we've got to cause some turnovers. It's definitely possible. Is it likely? Not as much, but it's definitely doable. Any given Sunday, but for college, any given Saturday. Anybody can beat anybody, and I truly believe that. You see it in all sports. You can have a lesser team beat a greater team at any given point. That's just the nature of sports. So I definitely am excited for sure.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'll be going to the football game. I'm that excited. So we'll figure out what happens. But I think at the end of the day, we got to make sure we show up. This can't be one of those games like the LSU's, we got to give them a Florida type of football game a couple years ago up in Orlando. It's got to be that type of fight, that type of dog and mentality. And we get Bama week 1. If you could get Bama at any time of the year with the type of players that they have right now, this is going to be not only make or break for us, but it's going to be they're going to put some young players on the Alabama offense and defensive side of the football in some make or break situations very early in a football game. I just hope that we could put enough pressure on a young, talented Bryce Young to where we're able to not only get a few turnovers, but capitalize off the turnovers.
Yeah. And Les brings up a good point, which is what I keep saying. We need to be able to run the ball because it seems like any of these big non-conference games, you go back years, the 2018 LSU game, any FSU game during that losing streak, all these big games, it seems like we'd have like one rushing yard for the game or something ridiculous. Like the only way we could score was if we just made one big play. We couldn't sustain drives. So, yeah, we need to be able to move the chains. That's where I get very nervous because the trenches is that's Alabama's specialty.
Yeah, it's definitely hard, especially when you run the quarterback, you have an extra blocker. So you put 7 on 6 when you're scheming it up as run play, but we don't want to. I don't know if I want to call up much QB runs with King's first game against Alabama. I don't know if I would do that, but it would definitely help. I don't know. Maybe they put in a Wildcat package, a Wild Cam, Knighton for sure could run that thing. Hopefully, we do something to try to spark some type of run game.
All right. Yeah, Zach, have you chimed in yet? What do you think?
Well, the big thing is, in these big games, this tends to be the theme. We play not to get blown out, whereas to win this game, you got to play to win, and you got to, play like dogs, like Brad was saying. Have that Florida swagger, have that Florida mentality, and just go out there and try to whoop some ass. That's it. The football will work itself out, but it's mostly mentality, I feel.
I agree. A lot of it's mental, for sure. Hope we can do well against Bama, but, Bergie's kind of feeling that's kind of how I feel, honestly. I think we can. I think we can make it competitive. But, yeah, it could unravel in a hurry. What worries me is what happened against UNC. Like, for example, if Bama chooses to go big up front, and we got fast athletes that maybe can stop the pass and things like that. But if they just decide to go 7 up front and steamrolls with the running game, what can we do? That's assuming we get a linebacker in the portal. I don't know. That's just me. I think we're just going to have to outpace them and outscore them.
I think no matter what, if we don't put up 40-plus points, we're not even in the conversation. And, however that is, like if they want to run the ball, honestly, if they want to slow the game down and run the ball, it probably works in our favor because if they really wanted to go up top and just like unleash Bryce Young, like we know it's his first game starting, it's all this, but we know what he's physically capable of. And he could click. I mean, he could click at halftime. And if he clicks at halftime, we're in trouble, right? So I would love it if they tried to slow it down a little bit, but no matter what, we have to keep the pace up. We have to attack. Steve-O was saying before about like a wild cam or a wild night and something like that. Anything to keep them on their toes and trying to figure out what might come next is going to work to our advantage. And the more speed we can get on the field, the more guys we have that can attack and put up points, the better.
Yeah. Well, what Javier said, Lashley, unleash the Kraken. He's got to unleash every last page of that playbook. Like everything you got up your sleeve, please use it. Whatever you've been holding, don't hold back. By the way, I think a stranger hopped onto the screen. I don't know. Do you guys know this dude?
I've never seen this guy before.
What's going on, Flo?
What's up, boys? How's everybody doing?
It's a party now.
I see Brad with that hot green screen back there, boy. Woo! Stepping your game up.
Yeah, that boy at the IPF chilling. How's the barbecue, fam?
The ribs weren't too bad. We had some gator tail earlier that was pretty crunchy.
You look like a coach, dog.
Yeah, real quick. Does anyone look at Brad's outfit and the first thing you think of is Dan Enos? Because that's
I thought Dan Enos was on the street when I pulled up.
You should change your name on here to Dan Enos tonight.
Get some floppy paper in there.
We can get Dan Enos, Xavier Restrepo on. We can get whoever else on.
Oh man. Oh man. Bro, Brad got the visor. Don't make him pull him out, bro.
I got both visors, right?
Yeah, please. We should make a rule. Just don't say that name ever on this stream.
Yeah.
And dear God.
Oh man.
Like a young Butch Davis.
Like a young Butch Davis. Devin
Flo,
Shapiro before he got into all
yeah. So Flo, give us. We're talking Bama right now, but we were talking the barbecue and everything. I wanted to get your thought because I don't think I've even talked to you through text or anything since yesterday. So, what stood out to you? What surprised you, if anything? What you like about yesterday? Talk to us.
I mean, I thought it went great, right? I mean, there was a couple people that didn't show up. One was that Jordan Allen thing bothered me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Other than that, I mean, I was really happy to hear what everybody already probably talked about, which is Shamar. He's back out there today again. That's huge, guys, because he wasn't supposed to be there today. You know, that's on him just coming back, right? That gives me more confidence in my prediction that we're going to be right there to the end. You know, whether we pull it out or not, I don't know. But I heard the food was banging, but I heard there was 2 food trucks out there that was actually killing it. It wasn't just a barbecue. Apparently, there was these 2 food trucks out there that were killing it. I know that a couple of the parents were super, super impressed with Ish. They hadn't met Ish yet, Coach Ish. They had talked to him on Zoom only, but once they got a chance to meet him, I know one mom said, I mean, it was quoted the way it got to me, saying that when she hugged him, she felt like a warmth, like a family member. That's huge when a mom says that, right? Um, Other than that, I mean, I thought it was a lot of positives. You know, I like that Armella flew in. You know, he didn't have to. You know, I know he was at FSU and then he flew in just to show up. I like that. I know they're trying to post a bunch of pictures of him in FSU stuff, but you know, if he was really feeling them, he wouldn't have came. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. So at the end of the day, I think it was a big positive. But the Shamar going back on campus today to me was a big deal, real big deal.
And not only that, talk about big deals. You know, I've been making a big deal about my guy, Jake Garcia. But not only Jake Garcia, but Romello Brinson, James Williams, Khalil Brantley, all these boys are not only ganging up with Shamar Stewart today, they've been hanging out all like the past 45 minutes, hour that he's been on campus. They're all chilling, all 4, right? Yesterday, what did we hear? Kamari Rogers chilling with all 4 of them. The fact that every single one of these key recruits that we are going after that we need, those guys, the nucleus of the guys that literally just came into this program are already investing time to get relationships with these young men that we're trying to get is key. And it's something that I don't think a lot of other programs have right now where you can actually say that 4 or 5 guys are kind of united into bringing you in right away, already a year in the making.
Yeah, I read that Brashard Smith, Jabari Ishmael they're all hanging out with Shamar. Like they got the whole freshman squad hanging out with them right now. And I do believe Kane Sport. So they did when they showed up, they did an interview. They also did an interview after the barbecue. And Shamar literally said to, I can't remember if it was Gary Furman or Matt Shodell, but he said the Canes are 100% a hat on the table when he signs. So that was big to hear.
Hey, I'm a little late. Sorry, I had to work. You know, I have these things called bills. Y'all, I know some of y'all don't know what those are, but I got them. Anybody talk about the dorms? Because the dorms was a smash.
We were talking about that, yes.
Man, I heard a lot of buzz on them dorms, boy. That's about time we step our game up.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I heard you paid for him, Flo.
Nah, man.
Yeah,
man.
the rock climbing wall and everything.
Or the adventure room?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called the adventure room or something like that. I haven't been in there yet, but I got to go make a stop.
Yeah, Jake posted like a picture of his room one time or something. Like it's like clear glass. Like you can see like the water. Like they stepped the game up.
Wow.
Man.
It was impressive to get everybody to see the new, IPF. You don't have to do this barbecue out there in the hot sun. Like, you could step inside, so you could flex a little bit about the new amenities and stuff.
Yeah, when people talk about like facilities for all these schools have, and everyone thinks right away it's the practice field, it's the indoor facility, and all that. But the dorms are just as much as part of like how much time these guys are going to be spending there. If you can set them up in a place that they want to be for the first year, 2 years before they move off campus and do their own thing, like just to know that, like, and then also the parents get there, the parents see it, they're like, that is perfect. Like all of you guys can kind of chime in when you're looking at schools, like you saw the dorms, you're like, oh yeah, I want to live right there. That's an easy thing to pick out and say like, okay, that's something you could sell to the whole family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Covel, I think Sherrod Covel, big time safety out of Virginia. He said that Miami's going to be in the end. Like we made major moves on an out of state kid who's been waiting to get out. I think they commented about like T Rob, Coach Ish, Shoop. So Shoop's out there talking to people, Coach Shoop. So like he's gonna, then what they said? Legendary Coach Rumpf. Shout out to my dog. Playing his position. He's good at talking to parents. Play your position, man, and let's land some of these kids. I'm glad I heard, those coaches' names pop up in a positive way from a parent. Then the kids saying they'll be there in the end, kind of like what Shamar said. That's big. Like, I promise you, I'd never even read like that kid's name before until that barbecue. Now it's like, now he's at the top, like, hey, they're going to be a hat on the table. So that was big boy moves.
Oh, Steve-O, let me ask you this. Because you're a tape guy. What'd you think of his tape?
I liked it. I think he gonna be a safety. I think he brings range. I think you have to have guys like that who's gonna be on one hash and slide over and bring physicality. So I was able to check out. I don't know if I finished his tape, but I watched some of it after work. It was nice. I would definitely like to see the quality of guys we're offering at safety. I think we have a couple of really good options. So if we don't hit on the top guy, the second guy doesn't really have no fall off.
Facts.
See, my thing on this is I'll put a little twist on this. I was gonna save this for my show, but I might as well just go ahead and just throw out some of my imaginary things on things. And unfortunately, I'm starting to feel like Jordan Allen is slowly slipping away from us. Like, and if that happens, right, he could potentially be a striker, a corner, a safety in this class. So now what you're looking at is you got to go through options. And I think that's where Sherrod Covel kind of makes sense as, a striker. I think with his range of what you're talking about, Steve-O, him being with Coach Ish, T-Rob, he was also hanging out with DJ Ivy and to Corey Couch as well, while Manny was pretty much watching him all day today go through workouts. I think he could possibly be your striker in this class. And then if you lose someone like Jordan Allen, you kind of complement someone like Sherrod Covel with a safety like Markeith Williams, who is also a name that's been kind of buzzing around the program as well, where Coach Ish kind of makes him feel at home. And the thought of the freshman dorms, like Flo mentioned, it kind of brought him at this imaginary place where Miami didn't feel just like a university. It was like this mansion program. Like he literally called the dorms mansions. Like, come on. And he I believe he's saying he's going to make his decision on August 11th, which is
correct.
His birthday.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Nick Cole now. Don't sleep on Nick Cole. That boy's nice. That boy's nice.
Absolutely. Hey guys, we just hit 70 in the chat. Thank you so much for whoever's out there watching, blowing up the chat right now. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. I wanted to do since I'm close to hitting that 1K, I wanted to do a special episode to kind of really push it through. I know Canes Insight also. I think you guys are. I think you're even closer to 1K than I am. I think you're like right at 900 something.
You can subscribe to us if you want to. I mean, that would appreciate that too.
922. I got it up, but I wanted to let you know, John. I got 65 accounts viewing the show right now. I'm trying to boost those numbers up for you, man.
Wait, so all these people on the chat are you?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, man. So, thank you guys for being on. We're probably going to just go to 8:30, so maybe 10 more minutes. That way give the people in the chat a break before Canes Insight. Let's see what Javier's saying. Can Manny use stud alumni at the BBQ to recruit, bring Ray Lewis, Dan Morgan, etc., McKinney, Romberg? Yeah, I didn't hear much about like former players and things like that.
That's why Mike Rumpf was there, guys.
Yeah, feel me? First round pedigree.
Like, nah.
They call that boy a legend, man.
As a player, yeah. As a player,
Yeah, that's
Played in the
exactly.
NFL.
He said you stud alumni.
I need John to give me access to the mute buttons so I can mute certain people. And it's like a video game. I figured it out on my channel. I had a blast with that junk. I was like, pew, pew. No, go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
Did anybody hear anything about Ed Reed? I didn't hear nothing about Reed. I thought he would have been there.
Fishing.
yeah, he goes live like every night on Instagram, so you'll know where he is in a couple hours or so.
Yeah. No, I didn't hear anything about Ed Reed, but
It's all good. He'll come in and close.
Yeah, this is just the beginning. Remember, they're not gonna get 15 commitments this week coming out of this thing. This is just the beginning. It's establishing the relationship. And it's their first. A lot of them, it's their first visit in 15 months to any school, so they really had to blow it out, and so that my message to everyone: be patient on the commitments. They'll bring in the legends when it's time.
Paradise.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure.
They're going to be all at Paradise Camp.
Yes.
That's in June also, or what is
Yes,
that?
June
July.
26th.
I thought it was July. Oh, well, I ain't arguing with y'all. Max has spreadsheets tattooed on his back.
It's June 26th. I'll be there. It's June 26th.
I know Lamar
Nice.
Thomas said that he was waiting for that to be healthy. I know he had some kind of surgery recently, but he already said, I'll be ready for Paradise. So
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
Awesome, man. So yeah. Any topics you guys want to throw out there? Anything, any surprises you think we'll get over the next month? Maybe something we're not expecting.
Oh, I like what we have on the board right now. I think we'll move on if we figure out that we're like for example, like Brad brought up, if we're out of the sweepstakes with Jordan Allen. I mean, I know Brad is high on Jordan Allen. I know that dude looks like a beast. I think that you may hear a new name pop up that we may put a little heat on that is not on the board currently. But I really, really, really like the current roster that we're going after, and I feel good. I mean, even the workouts today went really well from what I heard. A couple surprises on how they did. I mean, I think at the end of the day, Miami's coming into this family and a business attitude at this. So when you mix, that's a good thing for families just to hand over their kid. And with the player likeness, I heard Brad talking about the player likeness. I think that Miami's just in a good spot as long as we don't drop the ball. We just got to not drop the ball here. And I think we're going to land a lot of guys.
Yeah. Birdie brings up a good question. Do you think any players from the roster now will hit the portal? Who and why? I think yes, but who do you guys think it would be?
I think linemen. I think O-linemen are going to – that's got to shake out somewhere. There's just too many dudes that have experience starting not to go look for a better opportunity for themselves. I don't know who – I mean, it really depends on, how it's looking during the summer because, once you start to see that depth chart fall together, it's going to be someone who finds himself in a third spot with a guy that's younger than him ahead of him that's going to say, there's no point to me sticking around. I know I could be a versatile sixth lineman, but John Campbell just seems like, not that I know anything about John Campbell specifically, he just seems like the kind of guy that can go play left tackle at another school tomorrow, right? Not good enough for us because of Zion, and he almost beat him out a little bit at the beginning of last year, but I think he can go find a spot real quick, and we'll see what happens with Scaife. If Scaife doesn't have a starting job, there's no reason for him to stay because the young guy is going to take his spots too. So those are two guys that I'd be looking at, which sucks because those are two tackles with experience, and I'd hate to lose it.
Is that a Kenny Kelly jersey you're wearing right now?
Yes, of course it is. Absolutely.
Yes.
Nailed it. If the chat could see the picture Chris texted all of us the other day, your minds would be blown.
Oh, with the jerseys?
The jersey
Oh
collection.
my God,
That's a lot.
bro! You robbed the bank or something, dog. You could buy a house if you sell them jerseys. Straight up.
Oh,
That's crazy.
she'll hear you. She hears you say that.
It was impressive, man. I'm telling you, this picture was crazy. Y'all should definitely pull it up because I'm like, it was when I saw it, I was like, oh, double take. I was like, I started trying to count, then I gave up. I was like, oh man.
He probably, Chris, you probably know how many jerseys you got.
I have a Google sheet. I have to keep track of all.
Look at you.
I was following your footsteps there, Max.
That's that Ja'Cory Harris one, right? That's
Yeah.
hanging? Yeah.
I think Brad, you got that one, right? Brad, you got that one, right?
Yeah, my dad got it. It's too damn big for me.
How about this one? How about that one's good?
Oh, that's
You
always
guys like that
good,
one?
man.
The
That's
Holy
always
Grail,
good.
yes.
The Grail.
Zach, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a minute.
What's going on, Flo? How you doing?
You good, man? You working a lot or what? You got a little tan going on? I see some tan on you, dude. You got to get Max some of that tan.
I knew that was coming.
Well, because Max has to put the lights on so it looks dark and shady, so that way you can't tell. I know that trick. Trick.
It's getting hot in the Windy City. What can I say?
Yeah, man. You gotta look like you've been doing something, man. I see the little redness going on.
Oh yeah, you were outside today for sure.
Yeah.
I suffer from the same pale skin, so I'm outside for 5 minutes. I burn. So who else? Who else do you guys got possibly transferring? Wide receivers?
I think you may see a safety go.
I could see a safety going for sure with
So much guys there.
with all the talent coming in and all the talent you have as freshmen and redshirt freshmen right now. You've got guys like Washington and Balaam just kind of hanging around. There's not room for all of them. You can't play 7 safeties, unfortunately.
Yeah, hopefully we can convince one of those guys to, just ride through because, when Bubba leaves, Keyshawn Washington's stock was rising in the spring, so you would like to keep those type of guys around. But I don't know. I personally feel the receiver is going to go. I don't know who, but just 12, 13, with the top 3 guys pretty much established already, someone's going to go. Receivers, just the personality of a receiver is the quicker guy to hit the portal. Numbers back it, or it's just true.
So, Steve-O, why don't you tell us a little bit about the personality of a wide receiver since you play wide receiver? What is the personality of a wide receiver?
Nah, not my personality, but I've been in rooms with other guys that they was always, the best player where they was at. They got treated really well. That everything was done for them. And when they get there, they kind of be sometimes prima donnas. And then when things don't go their way, they spiral out of control. You see guys come up late. You see guys not coming to meetings, and then when they get to practice, as soon as they step on, the coach is waving them off. Go back to the locker. Then those guys fall off, man. Then you don't even start seeing them around, chilling with them no more. It's sometimes sad, but I think a receiver will hit the portal. It's just too much. There's one football. We have 3, 4, 5 backs. We have King who can run it. We have 6, 7, 8 guys, literally 10 guys at receiver who could probably get us through the ACC if they started. So someone's got to go.
I'm going to go a little different, kind of go on a limb and say the linebacker position puts a little bit more pressure on Manny Diaz as far as going in the portal because another linebacker may possibly leave.
I like that.
I hope you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. If we gonna roll in, we need everybody.
Yeah. What do you guys think of Greg's comment? I kind of agree.
Yeah, Greg.
I tell you,
don't do a comparison with John and I again.
You know what's crazy is I actually DM'd with Bernie Kosar today. I'll send y'all a screenshot.
No shit.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, I'm the one that reached out to him. He didn't reach out to me clearly, but he answered me, bro. So, and it was today. So I was like, when I saw the Bernie Kosar, I was like, huh?
What do you say? Take care of my son on the show tonight. Make sure he's good.
Oh man.
Oh, that was good. I think we'll end on that, guys. If you guys have anything else you want to chime in with before we go, anything at all?
Subscribe.
Yes.
Hit that sub button.
Yes, please subscribe.
Hit that sub button. Tyreek Stevenson's losing that extra weight he had in the nickel, so expect him to be locked down against Bama. Yeah, that's my last thought. I like Reek, bro. I like Reek. I think that's the type of dude we need outside, but we'll see.
The fact that Navon Donaldson is back to being in the best shape of his life, if not better, is very scary for opposing defensive lines. So whatever happens against Alabama, I think we need to kind of look our eyes forward and remember we got a full football season. And as long as we take care of business against North Carolina, we will face Clemson and Charlotte, and that's when we need to take care of business.
Awesome, man. Well,
Agreed.
Thank you guys for coming on. Really appreciate it. Spending a few minutes with me, talking some Canes. Canes Insight starts at 9, correct, Brad? With
Yes,
Brad and
sir.
Chris. So get some rest for the next 29 minutes, and we'll catch you back on there. All right. As always, it's all about the U. Go
Good night,
Canes.
everybody.
Night.
Good night, yeah.